Hi, welcome to my TradeWise channel. In this video, we will be covering what are the use cases of Site LC versus Usance LC versus UPAS LC. We will also touch on the benefits of LC confirmation and discounting, and the different scenarios buyers and/or sellers prefer these features. In today's video, we will be covering four main parts: benefits of Site LC, benefits of Usance LC, benefits of UPAS LC, and the features of LC confirmation and discounting. Now let's move on to the first part on the benefits of Site LCs. A Site LC is a type of letter of credit in which the issuing bank commits to pay the beneficiary, usually the seller, upon presentation of the required documents. These documents are typically shipping documents such as a bill of lading, invoice, and packing list, which prove that the goods have been shipped and are on their way to the buyer. The main advantage of a Site LC is that it provides the seller with immediate payment upon presentation of the required documents, which reduces the risk of non-payment. This makes it an attractive option for the seller, who can be assured of payment as soon as the goods have been shipped. However, a Site LC can also be disadvantageous for the buyer, as they are required to pay for the goods before they have actually been received. This means that the buyer has to trust that the goods will be shipped as described in the LC, and that they will be of the required quality and quantity. Site LCs are generally used in transactions where the buyer and seller have a long-standing relationship and trust each other, or where the goods are easily replaceable and the risk of non-payment is low. Next, a Usance LC is a type of letter of credit in which payment is made to the beneficiary, usually the seller, at a future date, usually after the goods have been shipped or a specific condition has been met. The future date is known as the usance period, which is typically 30, 60, or 90 days after the bill of lading date. The main advantage of a Usance LC is that it allows the buyer to take possession of the goods before payment is due, which can be beneficial for businesses that need to receive the goods before they can generate revenue from them. It also allows the buyer to inspect the goods and ensure that they meet the required specifications before payment is made. However, a Usance LC can also be disadvantageous for the seller, as they are not paid immediately and have to wait for payment until the usance period has expired. This means that the seller has to trust that the buyer will pay as per the terms of the LC, and that there will be no disputes regarding the quality or quantity of the goods. Usance LCs are generally used in transactions where the buyer and seller do not have a long-standing relationship and do not fully trust each other, or where the goods are unique or customized and the risk of disputes is higher. It's important to note that a Usance LC is less common than a Site LC, and that it is often used when the buyer needs more time to pay the invoice, and also as a way to secure payment to the exporter, while giving the importer more time to inspect the goods and ensure that they meet the requirements before paying. Now let's move on to benefits of UPAS LCs. A UPAS LC is a type of international trade financing where the buyer, the importer, requests their bank to issue an LC in favor of the seller, the exporter. The LC serves as a guarantee to the seller that the buyer will pay for the goods or services as specified in the LC, as long as the terms and conditions of the LC are met. The usance aspect of the LC means that payment is due at a future date, while payable at site means that the seller can present the documents required by the LC to the buyer's bank and receive payment immediately upon presentation, as long as the documents are in order. This type of LC is often used when the buyer needs more time to pay for the goods or services, but the seller wants assurance that payment will be made. Industries such as textiles, machinery, and construction materials often use this type of LC to facilitate trade. It is also popular in emerging markets, where the importer may not have the cash flow to pay for goods upfront, and the exporter is looking for a secure way to receive payment. This type of LC can also be used in situations where the exporter is supplying goods or services to a buyer who is in a different country and/or operating under a different legal system. Next, a confirmed letter of credit is one in which a second bank, usually the beneficiary's bank, adds its own commitment to pay to the issuing bank's commitment. This is unfunded, which means it is only a contingent risk from the Beni bank's point of view. There are no disbursements of funds to the Beni, and the confirming bank is only required to pay up if the issuing bank does not pay. This provides an added layer of security for the beneficiary, as they have a guarantee from two banks. On the other hand, LC discounting is a financial transaction in which a bank or financial institution, the discounter, provides financing to an exporter or supplier by purchasing the LC from them at a discounted value. In other words, the discounter pays the exporter or supplier a portion of the value of the LC before the payment is due, in exchange for the right to receive the full payment when the LC is eventually honored by the issuing bank. LC discounting can be useful for exporters or suppliers who need to receive payment for their goods or services quickly, but are unable to wait for the payment to be due under the terms of the LC. By discounting the LC, they are able to receive a portion of the payment in advance, which can help with cash flow and working capital needs. The process of LC discounting typically involves the exporter or supplier presenting the LC and the required shipping documents to the discounter, who will then verify that the documents are in order and that the LC is valid. Once the discounter is satisfied that the LC is genuine and in compliance with the terms, they will purchase the LC from the exporter or supplier at a discounted value and pay them the agreed upon amount. It is important to note that LC discounting can be risky for the discounter, as there is always the possibility that the LC will not be honored by the issuing bank, or that the shipping documents will be found to be fraudulent. This risk is often reflected in the pricing level of each transaction. I hope you find this video useful and simple to understand. In our next video, we will go through what is a standby LC, the difference between financial versus performance SBLC, and what is a structured LC. That's all for now. Thank you for listening.